we're going to go ahead and I posed a good question for Brian today. Would you take two guaranteed championships but miss the playoffs that all the other years, or no guaranteed championship but be in the mix every year? It's going to be a good question we're going to get into just in a second. But before we get started, we'd like to remind everybody that For the Faithful, by the Faithful pre-launch sale is coming July 30th through August 29th. You can save 20% off of all our designs. Go to ninerfaithfulradio.com/shop for all the details, or go ahead and follow Niner Faithful Radio Shop on social media. On Instagram and Facebook, it's at Niner Faithful Radio Shop, and on Twitter, it's at Niner Faithful RS. Go to cgiant.com, use the promo code Niner Faithful Radio to save on all theater, concert, and sporting event tickets, as well as help out the show. That website again is cgiant.com, and the promo code is Niner Faithful Radio. Make sure that when you go to shop49ers.com, you use our promo code. It really, really does help out the show, and it doesn't cost you any more. The link will be made available in the description of this video and podcast. Make sure to go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com. Check out all our blogs, previous episodes of all our shows, and some goodies we got there. You can follow the show on Instagram and Facebook at Niner Faithful Radio, and on Twitter at Niner Faithful RS. Ladies and gentlemen, faithful of all ages, let's start the show.
Now, 8 seconds to go. Third down. They only have time for two plays no matter what. So Rice goes out to the left. And if you want to take one crack, maybe he's the guy you should go for. Young almost falls down. Throws to the end zone.
All right, everybody, let's go ahead and bring Brian on. What's cracking with you, bro? How you doing today?
Good,
Hey,
good, good.
we're
And
always
yourself?
doing Landry. Oh, like I tell you every week, bro. Anytime you wake up a five-time champion, it's a good day, you know. But before we go ahead and get into the thing that we discussed, I actually do have some pretty sad news for us faithful who remember. Former Niners GM and UCLA coach Terry Donahue has passed away yesterday at the age of 77. Donahue, after he left UCLA, was offered the Cry Girls head coaching job in '98, but turned it down. And then next year was hired by Bill Walsh to be the player personnel director of player personnel. And when Walsh retired, Donahue became the 49ers general manager and served from that role from 2001 until 2004. What I remember most about Mr. Terry Donahue is he was supposed to be the man. He was the man who was handpicked by Bill Walsh and was groomed by Bill Walsh to take over the Niners. And you know, in 1998, you're not talking about this generation's 49ers. You're talking about the dynasty 49ers. I mean, you're talking about a team that in '98, I mean, was 4 years off of winning their fifth Super Bowl. So and it kind of gets into our topic here a little bit today. But we're gonna wrap this up and say, R.I.P. Mr. Donahue. We tip our caps to you and everything, and thank you for obviously wasn't the best years in Niners history, but still thank you for your service to the red and gold. And shout out goes to his wife and daughter and grandchildren who have survived him. May the Lord be with you. So always the awkward transition in talk radio from something serious to something way less serious. But it gets to our point today. Like I was just saying a few moments ago. When I was growing up, Brian, the Niners were that team. I grew up mostly in the '90s, so the Niners won one Super Bowl in the '90s technically, but the Niners had just came off a decade where they won 4 championships, and then would go ahead and reach heights that they did in the '90s, winning another Super Bowl and going into multiple conference championships. So if you would have told me, let's just say you would have told me August, if you would have told me July 5th of 2005 of 1995, that we would be sitting here in July 5th of 2021 and the Niners still haven't won the championship, you're smoking rocks. So the idea of this premises is, like I was telling Brian off air, so if you look at the 10 seasons from the time that the Giants beat the Patriots when they were 16-0 till 10 seasons after that, this is the results that they got. They won the Super Bowl in 2007. They lost in the divisional round in 2008. Didn't make the playoffs in 2009. Didn't make the playoffs in 2010. Won the Super Bowl in 2011. Didn't make the playoffs to 12, 13, 14, 15. And they lost in the divisional round in 2016. Their records were, I'll go back. So 10-6, 12-4, 8-8, 10-6, 9-7, 9-7, 7-9, 6-10, 6-10, and 11-5. So the question I was offering to Brian and myself was, if I could tell you right now that for the next 10 years, I can guarantee you the Niners would win 2 championships, but we would miss the playoffs. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of those 10 years. Would you take that right now?
Me personally, I wouldn't want
personally.
to. Yeah.
You wouldn't want to. You would risk it. You would rather
Yeah, I
have
would risk it.
so let me give the other part of the question. I forgot I didn't set this up. So would you take that as a guaranteed 2 championships, or would you have the Niners be in the playoffs every year and not be guaranteed a championship, but be in the mix every year for the playoffs and possibly winning a championship? You would roll the dice. You would rather just say, hey, I'll be a playoff team every year.
I mean, there's always a big percentage that we might take it that far, but 2 out of, you say 10 years or 6?
2 out of 10 years. But you're missing the playoffs 6 years. So there's 6 years you don't even have a chance to win the Super Bowl. You're not even in the dance. Okay, I get.
And out of those years that we're in it, there's no guarantee that we're gonna at least win 1.
Yeah, and so to me personally, I personally would take the 2 championships. Like I was telling you off air, I'm a Sharks fan, and so for anybody, that's right, baby, bleed teal. For anybody who is a Sharks fan, it seems like every year we have a chance to win the Stanley Cup, but haven't won one. And I'm looking back at the careers of Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau, who are probably pretty equivalent to, I would say, Joe Montana. Well, maybe not Joe Montana. Well, yeah, probably about Joe Montana and Jerry. Like you would say, probably the 2 greatest Sharks that have played majority of their careers or a good amount of their careers in San Jose would be Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau. And so you would think that they would win 1 championship. I promise you, the day that we traded Joe Thornton for Joe Thornton, you would have not found a Sharks fan on planet Earth that wouldn't have put money down that in his Sharks career that we would win a championship. I promise you, every single Shark fan would have took that bet that the Sharks would have at least won 1 Stanley Cup with Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau and the players that we've, Joe Pavelski, so on and so forth. I would have made that bet. I had my life savings, like, oh, for sure we're winning the championship. And every year you never know what happens. It's as I've gotten older, I've imagined really, and it's okay to say this because a lot of people don't want to say this, but how much luck goes into winning a championship? I mean, you could go back to even the Giants when they won the Super Bowl in 2007. I believe it was Burris that caught the pass off his helmet. I promise you that play never happens again in a football game. You will never, ever again have a wide receiver catch a pass like that again in a football game. Never, ever. And without that pass, they don't win that Super Bowl. You know, think about just even look at the Patriots. Look at the Patriots. Go back to Pete Carroll deciding to throw the ball on the 1 yard line instead of run. I promise you, 99.9% of football coaches run the ball right there, especially with Marshawn Lynch. You're gonna run the football, but you never know. You know,
as
with
well
Cap.
as
Go ahead.
as well as us, Dre Greenlaw at that 1 yard line, 2019.
One
What could
inch.
happen?
Yeah, literally, like an inch, like this amount away from like it's. You think that like just the littleness of football, like literally, if Dre Greenlaw takes a slightly different angle this way, maybe he doesn't get there in enough time. You know, exactly. You're 1 inch away from this year. You know, I've come out and I've said, look, if the Niners don't win the number 1 seed, I don't think we're going to win the Super Bowl. Just off the fact that you're talking about, we got to go 12 straight weeks without a bye, plus, through the playoffs. Without any bye week. Yeah, that's not happening, bro. You can't play that much football without a break. Your body's not going to handle it. Look at Ted Ginn running literally. This is the whole Kyle fucking Williams situation happened because Ted Ginn ran the wrong route, bumped into Kyle Williams, and got hurt. Literally, that's why he missed the NFC Championship game in 2011. Kyle fucking Williams is in the game. We all know what happened. Literally, because he ran the wrong route. Like that might be the only time in football history that anybody got injured by running the wrong route. That's just unluck, bro. But that's the type of things that you got to happen. Like you were saying, 2019, the Kittle play in New Orleans. The Kittle play in New Orleans. That ball was getting close to getting tipped. The 3rd and 16s, 2 3rd and 16s versus the Yams. And everybody wants to talk about, in 2019, the final game of the year, which of course, rightfully so. But a lot of people don't realize that game would have not meant as much if we lost the week before to the Yams. And people forget how close we were to really losing to the Yams. In 2019, that the second to last game, the last home game. That Emmanuel Sanders and Kendrick Bourne. Or I'm sorry, it was Kendrick Bourne first, then Emmanuel Sanders. 3rd and 16s, bro. I promise you, the Niners probably never convert another 3rd and 16 again in our lifetimes, let alone 2. Look at the Super Bowl. I promise you, I guarantee you, the Niners never gave up a 3rd and 15 ever again. You know what I'm saying? One fluke play. Thrown by a man that there's no other person on planet Earth that can make that throw besides Patrick Mahomes that he made on 3rd and 15. No other quarterback can make that throw on planet Earth. No human. And so, you never know what happens. So I take the guaranteed championships. So I know you and Jamie went ahead and last week y'all discussed your most important players to the Niners and everything, and I was dealing with something, I missed it. So I thought I'd go ahead and give everybody my list real quick and everything, and we'll kind of go through it and all that and everything. So I believe we did top 10. So my top 10 number 10 most important Niner is I'm gonna say Javon Kinlaw. And I say Javon Kinlaw because we all know, as much as that Javon Kinlaw will never be DeForest Buckner. Okay, let's come out and say that right now. Javon Kinlaw will never be DeForest Buckner. And the big question, if you listen to the State of the Franchise, which obviously if you're watching the show, you probably did. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan were both asked, do you believe that this team is better than the team that left, Miami Groundhog's Day, Eve of 2020? Are we better? And one of the big questions, if you want to look yourself in the mirror and honestly be able to say, yeah, we're a better football team, one of the most important pieces to that is Javon Kinlaw. Let's be real. What's the biggest glaring step back we have taken from 2019 is losing DeForest Buckner. You know, that's obviously the biggest missing piece of this 2019 team. And so, like I said, Javon Kinlaw is not going to be DeForest Buckner, but if Javon Kinlaw can be 40% of DeForest Buckner, I think that puts the Niners in a really, really good position. And I think that the Niners are in really good shape if you say, hey, we're clearly a team that's built from our D-line. That's the core of our football team is the D-line. And I'm pretty comfortable with saying, hey, going forward, the Niners have Javon Kinlaw and Nick Bosa, you know, on the core of our football team. I'm okay going forward if I believe that Javon Kinlaw takes a step that I believe he will. Number nine most important Niner to me is Jimmy Ward. And I think that Jimmy Ward takes so much crap. He takes so much crap because he doesn't get picks. This is true. I'm not knocking it. I'm not, not a Jimmy Ward apologist by any means. But the man makes plays. The man is – we all know his concerns with health, which, let's give him his props. If you were quick, like myself, including myself, if you were quick to knock Jimmy Ward for his health, from 2014 to 2018, then you got to give him props now. Because the only games he's missed were the first 3 games of 2019. He hasn't missed a snap since. And so the man, all he's done is shown up and ball. And I think that Jimmy Ward is one of those players that you're like, oh, well, he doesn't have the stats. He doesn't have the stats because nobody's throwing to him because he's locking everybody down. We all know that what he said on social media, I believe it was Instagram, where he said, I think the only tight end that can get 50 yards against me is George Kittle. And I believe that. I believe that Jimmy Ward, there's no tight end. I believe Jimmy Ward can shut down Travis Kelce, which is probably the best tight end he could play in the league besides George Kittle, would be Travis Kelce. And I'm sorry, I see him locking down. My memory serves, is blurry because I was pretty drunk and pretty pissed and depressed, but I don't remember Travis Kelce going off in the Super Bowl. I don't remember him being a difference maker in the Super Bowl or anything like that. And I would bet you that has a lot to do with Jimmy Ward. And not only because of the great player that Jimmy Ward is, but also because who the hell do we have behind him? If we had Travarius Moore, I'd be like, okay, fine. Hey, that's good. At least we got Travarius, who has proven that he belongs on the NFL field. Maybe not be a starter, but he proves that he belongs on the NFL roster. But he ruptures his Achilles, so I don't know who we're going to put out there besides Jimmy Ward. And that worries me deeply. That worries me a lot. Number 8. We're going to go ahead and move in number 8, and I'm going to say number 8 is Juice. Kyle Juszczyk, to me, it's not so much the passing stats, and everybody talks about, oh, he's the highest paid tight end, and it's an albatross of a contract. Man, I'm not worried about that. The man freaking does his job. And I have the stats written down. I lost my notes. But I know for a fact that something like 2 yards less per rush we get without Kyle Juszczyk on the field. That's literally means we get 4?
I think it was 4
less yards? Okay, yeah, okay, cool. Even better. That's 4 less yards. And for a football team who's built to run the football like we are, that's a significant amount. That's damn near half of a first down. That means you're going from getting a first down after being able to get a first down on third down and not. That changes games right there. And so to me, there's a reason he's the highest paid fullback. And you know what? If you want to look at him as the highest paid fullback, okay, fine. You know what I like to pay him? An average paid tight end. Because let's be real, what is he? He's a tight end that plays fullback. You can line him up at tight end if you want. You know what I'm saying? He could go out there and he would be our second, third tight end.
Yeah.
So fine, if you want to say he's a bottom tier, tight end, if that makes you feel better because of his cap number, fine, okay, then fine, say he's a low paid tight end. But Juice is to me the eighth most important player on the team. The seventh most important player on the team, I'm gonna say Raheem Mostert. And the reason I'm gonna say Raheem Mostert is I know that we could be productive with running backs. I know that Kyle Shanahan and Bobby Turner and Mike McDaniel are going to be able to get the job done, and we're going to run the football this year. And we're going to be up there in the top 5 of rushing offenses in the league. I put Raheem as the seventh best player, most important Niner, is he's a difference maker. We have fast running backs. We have good running backs. We ain't got running backs like that. We ain't got running backs that could turn a 5-yard run into an 80-yard house call like that. Raheem Mostert is different. And while I don't expect him to be the bell cow this year, and I have said I do believe Trey Sermon will lead the team in carries this year, I believe that that's the best for Raheem. If you're Raheem Mostert, what you want is you don't want the bulk of the carries this year because you want to stay healthy. I do believe that it'll be better for the Niners and Raheem if he splits carries this year. We go by more of a running back by committee, because it means he's going to be healthy, which means he's ultimately going to be more productive if he's on the field, and B, it means that he's going to be able to do all that in a contract year. I do not believe Raheem Mostert is going to be signed as a free agent. We talked about that. We both believe that Raheem Mostert will not be on the team next year. So to me, what you want if you're Raheem, you want two things. You want to come out this year healthy, and you want to be able to prove that you could be a productive running back in the NFL. And so I believe instead of getting 20 carries a game, if he gets 7 to 10 carries a game but gets 90 yards because he's had a couple 20-yard runs, I think that's better than Raheem Mostert getting, 400 carries in the season. That's kind of ridiculous. Number 6, I'm going to put number 6 as Debo. Look, everybody knows my feelings about Debo. I love Debo. Anytime he touches the ball, I'm Mr. Tuck your chain, tuck your chain. Here comes Debo. I love me some Debo Samuel. I do. I rock with Debo, and you know what? He commented back on it. He commented on our post on Instagram. So I replied to our comment on Jason's comment. So, definitely love me some Debo. His mentality is none like any other. But I don't know if I'm giving Debo a second contract. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you're going to pay George Kittle $15 million, if you're going to pay Eric Armstead $20 million, if you're going to pay Nick Bosa, let's be real. Nick Bosa is probably going to make close to $25 to $30 million a year. You're paying Trent Williams, 20, 21 a year, right? Eventually, let's hope eventually you're going to get to the point where you're going to have to pay Trey Lance, right? Bam Bam's going to be making 15 to 20, and so you can fall in love with players, but you know what? I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm going to give Debo a second contract if it means I got to lose. It means I can't pay Nick Bosa. If it means I can't keep Brandon Ayuk. If it means we can't keep our depth. It means, those type of things. And so to me, I think this is a big year for Debo. I said because Debo to me has a skill set like any other Niner receiver. He takes the pressure off of George Kittle because let's be real. George Kittle is going to run through a brick wall. That's just the way George Kittle plays. And you want George Kittle playing like that. That's the reason that the Niners guaranteed him $40 million for injury, because George Kittle says, "Hey, I want to be able to play like a maniac, because that's what makes me the best tight end in football is the fact that I will run through your freaking face. That I'll carry 4 ain'ts on my back while getting dragged down by my face mask."
Yeah.
No, to me, Debo brings that, but from a receiver mentality. And let's be real. I believe he took a step back last year. We were all pumped up after 2019, after his rookie year. Debo took a step back last year. Now I understand it was injuries. It was a broken foot. I don't know if anything, more he could have done. I've talked to somebody who's is a personal trainer whose opinion I trust greatly, and I'll let you know that they are part of the Niner organization. And they told me that, look, that's fluke injury. You can't do there's ways that you can strengthen your foot, but I mean, if he broke one of the most difficult bones to break in your foot. There's not much you can do about that. But to me, it's about staying on the field. And Deebo makes our receiving core different. And we obviously have questions about the third receiver. Let's be real. The third receiver on this team is the fourth receiving option behind Kittle, Brandon Aiyuk. But we need Deebo to be on that field to do that. Because if you could tell me that the Niners will only get production between, as far as a receiver, receiving threat aspect, Deebo, Brandon Aiyuk, and George Kittle, I'm okay with that. As long as you tell me that all of those are going to play every game. As long as all of them play, or I won't even say every game, because if you can't expect a player to make it through 16, how can you expect a player to make it through 17? So as long as I get 14 games from Deebo, I'm okay with that. Number 5, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say number 5. I'm going to put it at number 5, Mr. Trey Lance. Trey Lance, and a lot of people said, well, you're Mr. Jimmy's going to start week 1. Jimmy's going to start week 1. Yeah, I do. But to me, Trey Lance is important because he gives the Niners 2 things. A security blanket that, let's be real, we all know, I've even admitted, and I'm a Jimmy fan, not Jimmy Stan, but I am a Jimmy Garoppolo fan. I've admitted the man can't stay on the field. The man needs to stay on the football field this year because the last time we saw Jimmy Garoppolo for every game of the season, we were in the freaking Super Bowl. So, yeah, we do need to. I believe that's Trey Lance. So, you know what? If Trey Lance is on this team last year, does Jimmy come back from his ankle injury? Yeah, probably. You know what I'm saying? If Brian, if right now somebody says your boss tells you, hey, we've hired somebody that we think is going to replace you, are you going to call in the sick to work?
No.
No, right? You're going to do it. Make sure everything you make your shift, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna show up early. You're gonna volunteer to stay late for free. You're gonna do everything you can in your power. Number 2 reason I believe that it gives us a security blanket. So because ultimately I don't want the best for Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't want what's best for Trey Lance. I want what's best for the San Francisco 49ers. And so if Jimmy goes down, Trey Lance gives us, I won't say that, rookie win the Super Bowl, whatever. But at least I know that I'm saying, okay, we got somebody that we can expect that Trey Lance can come in and win some football games. I'm not saying that he's going to come over and take over the league or any of that, but I do believe that right now Trey Lance can function enough with his running ability and, the way he's processing the playbook. I do believe that Trey Lance can come in for a couple games and hold it down. And that's something that we couldn't say last year. We saw that. And so that's why I put Trey Lance at number 5. Number 4, Fred Warner. I don't think I need to say anything about this one, except maybe he should be higher on the list. But to me, I mean, Fred Warner is Mr. Niner on defense. He changes our defense. Or I shouldn't say he changes our defense. He's the captain of our defense. He's the quarterback of our defense. And I think that the relationship between him and DeMeco Ryans is going to allow Bam Bam to take his game to the next level. Him and Dre Greenlaw, we'll make my honorable mentions that I will mention before we reveal my top pick. But if you tell me, hey, the Niners linebackers are pretty damn good. Yeah, and who was the coach? Oh, that DeMeco Ryans guy, the guy we just hired as D coordinator. Oh, okay. Yeah, so the best position group on our football team is the D line, but it should be. We've invested the most capital into our D line. But to me, when you look at a 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick are your starting linebackers right now, that's a lot of coaching. That's big props to the scouting department for finding the players. But that's big props, even bigger props to the coaches for developing those players. And so, to me, number 4 has to be Bam Bam. Number 3, most important Niner this year is George Kittle. Everything I said about Fred Warner, just transfer it to George Kittle. I mean, the man, what can you say? The man freaking, look, we should just change our name to the San Francisco George Kittles. I mean, he's the team mascot. He's the one that gets everybody fired up. The man literally hits his head against the freaking brick wall before every game. If that doesn't scream football player, I don't know what does. You know what I'm saying? The man runs around screaming it's National Tight End Day. Oh, man. I love me some Kittle Corn, baby. Number 85 on the field. We are a championship caliber roster. Yeah, George Kittle. Number 2, most important player. Number 10, Jimmy Garoppolo. Look, I know I'm not going to sit here and gush over Jimmy G and everything like that, but, you know, does Jimmy have his faults? Yes, he does. Is Jimmy the quarterback of the future for this football team? No, he's not. But it's okay to root for Jimmy Garoppolo. It's okay to say, hey, I want Jimmy to do good this year because that's great for the Niners. And that's ultimately what you should want. Man, fuck Trey Lance. Fuck Jimmy Garoppolo. Fuck any of these players, bro. I'm a faithful. I'm a Niner fan. What I want is what's best for the San Francisco 49ers. And truthfully, I do believe that is for Jimmy Garoppolo to come out and play week 1. Give Trey Lance an opportunity because I'm sorry. Cool, he's picked up the playbook. That's awesome. I have always said since day one, since the moment we drafted him, when Jason and I sat down and the excitement started to calm down and you know, we got over the initial, you know, excitement of the pick. I said, he says, do you start him? I said, I do not. To me, Trey Lance has to prove that he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. Because as many faults as you can point to Jimmy Garoppolo, and he has plenty of them, the man freaking wins. Okay? And as we asked earlier, you want to point how we've only had four winning seasons since 2003, right? Yeah, I've watched all those, bruh. Okay? I've watched some garbage quarterback play for this football team. Don't even get me started. Okay, we ain't got enough time for me to go on that rant. But I've watched some garbage football team. Jimmy just wins, and that's all that matters. You know, I promise you, there's games that Joe Montana looked like shit. But we got the dub. That's all that mattered. Joe didn't play that in Super Bowl 16, his first Super Bowl. Joe didn't play that great. He really didn't. That game was pretty much won by the defense and Bill Walsh. But we still won. Does anybody call Joe Montana a bad quarterback? Is anybody chasing him out of town? No. He's the greatest quarterback to ever play. All that matters is wins. And so I understand that Trey Lance is the future. And of course, Jimmy Garoppolo's off this team. You know what? If Trey Lance becomes the starter this year, I believe we do trade Jimmy Garoppolo. Of course, Jimmy Garoppolo's days are numbered. But to think that we cannot win with Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm sorry. Cool. Trey Lance has a higher upside. Trey Lance is the future. Awesome. But you know what? Trey Lance hasn't proven shit. Trey Lance hasn't taken a snap in an NFL game. And I believe in it. I believe Trey Lance is the right. I wanted Justin Fields, but I said at the end of the day, I do believe that Kyle Shanahan can get the best out of whatever quarterback we drafted. So I believe whatever the best of Trey Lance, I do believe Kyle Shanahan is the one that's going to get the best out of him. And I do believe that whatever quarterback we took, was going to come into the best position he could come into. So I do believe in Trey Lance. But the last time I checked, Jimmy Garoppolo started the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo went toe-to-toe with Drew Brees in New Orleans. Fine, you can say whatever. It wasn't a great passing kill. Whatever. But Jimmy Garoppolo does not fold under the pressure. I believe in Jimmy. And you know what? I believe that Jimmy's going to come out fired up. And you know what? I expect Jimmy to basically come up and say, hey, Rook, you're going to take my job, but you're going to take it out my cold, dead hands. you're gonna take it from me. I ain't gonna give it to you. And I look, any real test of a man is when your back's against the wall. You know what I'm saying? And Brian, you're young, but I'm pretty sure you've had some times where you've had some moments where it's been time for you to man up, right? Like, what are you made of as a man? And you know what? That's when you find out the true test of a man. And I believe Jimmy Garoppolo ain't no punk. You feel me? You know,
Yeah.
Jimmy used to be a linebacker. So Jimmy, his dad's an electrician. And let me tell you, my dad's basically an electrician. He worked for PG&E. You can't be an electrician's son and be soft. You know, you're not going to grow up well around electricians, you know, and blue-collar family and be soft in the middle, you know, and melt under pressure. So I believe number one most important player for the San Francisco 49ers, Nick Bosa. I think that should go without saying. Yes, I know Kim's going to put in the comments on YouTube how I didn't want to draft Nick Bosa. I wanted Quentin Williams and everything like that. Hey, look, I'll look right into your eyes. The faithful, I'm looking you right in the eyes. I was wrong not to want to pick Nick Bosa. I admitted it. I was wrong. The man, I haven't seen anybody come in and impact a defense like that as far as a defensive lineman since Aldon Smith. I mean, you know, you and I were discussing it, you know, off air and everything like that. I mean, Nick Bosa legitly, I mean, man. And to me, what makes him special is it's not the sacks. It's just play after play after play after play. It's just somehow when you watch the 2019 season, somehow mysteriously number 90 ends up, he might not be there the first there. He might not be the one that gets the sack. But somehow number 97 is all around the football more times than not. You know, and number 97 is around that football making plays, impacting the game. Now all of a sudden the quarterback had to go this way, which gave the DB extra time to get in position. And I just believe we're a great defense. We're a good defense without Nick Bosa. We were a top 5 defense last year. We're a great championship defense with Nick Bosa. Brian, we have about, matter of fact, you know what? We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get Brian's thoughts on my list and maybe go over a little bit of his.
All right.
All right, bro. We got about 3 minutes. I'm going to go grab a sip of something real quick because my throat's fucking killing me. And we'll be back, and we got 2 minutes, 50 seconds. So I'll take a breather real quick. Go. You're all good, bro. We got about a minute and a half, so we're good.
All right, for sure. I didn't want to come back and then we're on in a hurry.
Yeah, no, it's all good, bro. It's all good. But we've been making we'll make about 2-3 cents probably off of running this ad. So I mean that's not a lot of money, you know, but more than we make off of YouTube.
That's per view, right?
I don't know exactly how it works. All I know is when I go to the analytics for the channel and everything, one of the options is revenue, and it seems like pretty much every show it always says 2 cents at least. So I don't know if that's per view. I don't know if that's per maximum we get, or I don't know. All I figure is it'll add up.
Yeah,
You know,
because I know when you get to 1,000, you're
yeah,
allowed to
that's usually
put
what
the
it
ad.
is. Yeah, usually is what it is. Usually they do advertising. It's about 1,000, and we haven't gotten 1,000 watches, so I don't know how we're making revenue, but I'm not going to complain about it. All right, we got about 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, we're back, and so we're back. All right, so Brian, I don't know if you have your list handy or whatever like that, but just off the top of your head and everything like that, your thoughts, most important Niners.
Um, I went mine from 1 to 10, but I'll just go over
Yeah,
yours
okay.
because on the last show,
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, that's basically what I meant. Yeah.
okay. So, for your first one, I definitely agree with Nick Bosa. It's just really
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
tell because last year we had like what you said, top 5 defense without him,
Hmm.
but he definitely makes it X factor in the defense, and I would have him high, like definitely in the top 10, just not that high.
Yeah. Okay,
And
okay.
then
Who is your number one? Just
Jimmy,
out of curiosity. Jimmy? Okay,
yeah,
fair.
mine,
I got to go with the quarterback. Yeah. I agree with that. Okay, well, I said Jimmy, number 2, I believe.
yeah. Um, with Jimmy, his health, big problem. If you can rely on him and he stays healthy, obviously we're gonna have that 13-3 record, or we're gonna have those playoff stretch wins, and I believe that when healthy, we can put stuff on his back and he can carry this team. But it's just really hard to tell because it's either he's healthy or he's not playing 5 games in a season.
Exactly.
And
Eh,
usually,
eh,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, yeah. I totally agree with what you said there. And look, I don't think Jimmy could put the team on his back for a season, but for a game, yeah. For what a game, 2 games, 3 games out of the year, I believe if you say, hey, look, so if you broke down our schedule and you said Kyle Shanahan's a good enough coach to get us, let's say, 4 to 6 wins, right? Just by himself, Kyle Shanahan's a good enough coach. We're going to get 4 to 6 wins, right? You think about the defense would probably get us about 2 to 3. So right there, you're between 6 to 9, 8 games right there. I believe Jimmy can get you 3 wins. So that goes from 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12-5 right there. You know, so yeah, I believe that if you said, "Hey Jimmy, we need you. We just need you to get us 3 games," whether it's not even carrying the team on your whole back, because I don't believe we'll get blown out. I believe our defense is too good and our offense is too good to get blown out. So we will be in football game. We will always be in football games this year. And so if it comes down to us saying, "Hey, look, Jimmy, we just need you to make enough throws, 2 to 3 games, and get us 2 or 3 games this year by making us, just making throws at the right time. A 3rd and 16, for example. Yeah, I believe Jimmy Garoppolo could do that. I completely agree with you. Look, to me, there's only 2 positions on a whole football field that touch the ball every single play, and that's center and quarterback. Those are the only 2 positions on a football field that control the football every single play. And so we've seen Jimmy do it before. And so, yeah, I agree. Your thoughts on Fred Warner? I believe that was my number 3.
I think it was Kittle and then Warner. But
Okay, sorry. Yeah, Kittle. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, you can't really replace those guys on both sides.
No.
I mean, who's gonna step up for Fred? Who's gonna step up for Kittle? We all saw what Kittle's absences did, and obviously Fred Warner has been, very consistent on his part, and you know,
To me, what the thing with Bam Bam is I won't even bring up the I word, because I don't want to jinx anything. But the thing to me about it is why you have to pray Fred Warner is because Fred Warner's done everything right? And you cannot find a person in the organization that has a bad word to say about Fred Warner. That he just, slacked off at practice one day or anything. No. You know what I'm saying? Like anything you hear, you'll hear Fred Warner at Niner football practice. And so to me, why I also put, Kittle and Fred Warner up here so high at the list is that as we're transitioning into a younger football team, you want to go to these younger players and you want to say, hey, look, you do things the right way. You follow George Kittle on offense. You follow Fred Warner on defense. You'll get paid. This team will take care of you. You do things the right way. You will be rewarded by this football team and this front office. And that's important. That's important because you know what? After, there's franchise tags and whatever, but these players do have a choice. And players notice things like that. Players notice who you pay and who you don't pay. And so it's the Niners will always have to compete, and it will always be difficult for Niners to attract free agents. Just because simply, California's high state income tax. You know what I'm saying? Florida, Nevada, not Nevada, I'm sorry. Florida, Texas, I believe, doesn't have any state tax. So, these are places that you're just legitimately always going to have to compete with. Because, yes, California has the highest state income tax in the nation. So things like, hey, look, they take care of the players that take care of them. They take care of their own. Things like that really do matter when you're trying to get free agency. When you're trying to, because let's be real, we ain't got a lot of picks. So, there's going to be some free agents that are brought in by this team over the next couple of years. And we ain't got no first rounders. So, some free agents are going to have to come in. And things like that matter. Things like that matter. Football is such a game of motivation that, you know what? Yeah, if I'm a football player and I know that if I ball out, my organization's going to take care of me. If I do things the right way, I will be rewarded. Yeah, that's going to make me practice harder. That's going to make me work harder. That's going to make me play harder. That's going to make me want to be out there, even though my shoulders hurt me. Things of that nature. And you know what? That's what you want. That's what breeds championships, and that's how we win with class. I've always kind of the word "win with class" has kind of always irritated me because I liked the Harbaugh handshake. You know what I'm saying? I like a coach that's fired up, chest bumping his players, and I liked Eddie D coming out and saying, you show me a good loser, I'll show you a loser. Ain't no such thing as a good loser. You feel me? Hell yeah, I'm a bad loser. I like things like that, but if you want to win with class in the way I believe you should, you take care of your players. You take care of the players that balled out for you. Pay Bam Bam. Pay the man. Give him what he deserves. Because it's going to send a message to the rest of the locker room. Hey, the San Francisco 49ers will take care of you. Number 4, I believe, Bam Bam Kill, we both said it. Thoughts on Debo. Or thoughts on Trey Lance, sorry.
Oh, Trey Lance. All right. We haven't seen a lot of him but I
You
believe
know,
that um it's just hard to tell because the system is so quarterback friendly. Like whoever's there is just you can look like a Hall of Famer, potential Hall of Famer,
yeah,
and you were like I don't know, like a nobody. I mean, once you really know the system, I mean, everything is done for you. You're just literally making these little itty bitty throws, dumping it off to the Ayuk or the Debo. Um, it just I don't know. Um,
it Trey Lance, I believe it's he's came into the best situation for him. And it's like me. I think what you'll say with Trey Lance is this: is that people ask me sometimes, "Do you believe George Kittle is a Hall of Fame tight end?" I don't believe he's there yet. You know, you're obviously doing some type of projection. I mean, the man's only played, 4 seasons, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, 4 seasons. So, no, nobody's made the Hall of Fame after 4 years. So except maybe Jerry. But so no, he's not a Hall of Famer yet. But if you tell me, if I said, look, one thing, the two most important things that I think will prevent, I do believe George Kittle has the potential. I would put my money that he is. If you asked me to bet my life savings and said I had to bet it, I would put it that he is more than he's not. But the two main factors to me is health, which is with any football player. Let's be real. Patrick Willis was a Patrick Willis is a no. Patrick Willis, if he played probably 2, 3 more years, would have been a no doubt Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. 2, 3 more. If he would have played 10, 11, 12 seasons, yeah, Patrick Willis is no doubt Hall of Fame. So, but injuries, and that's why Patrick Willis, it'll take him a little bit to get in the Hall of Fame. I do believe he'll eventually get in, but yeah, it will be. So George Kittle to me is health, longevity, health, and is Kyle Shanahan his head coach? If Kyle Shanahan can be his head coach majority of his career, the meat of his career, what you're really looking at a Hall of Fame resume, then yeah, I do believe that. Because George Kittle is a great tight end. What makes him a legendary tight end is Kyle Shanahan. Let's be real. In 2018, when he set all those records, yeah, he had to run the routes, he had to do all that. But let's be real. I mean, Kyle Shanahan was keeping them wide open. Some of those touchdowns he had, that 28 season when he broke the yardage record. I mean, he was wide open. I remember the Denver Broncos basically it was literally just like, can anybody else cover 85? Like anybody care about covering 85? He almost said the I remember Shannon Sharp. I guess he said he had the tweet ready to congratulate him because he thought he was going to break his single game tight end yard record for a single game, and he almost broke it by halftime. And it was literally like
yeah,
people were just like, "Dude, just cover 85. Like that's all you had to worry." And of course, he didn't. But yeah, was a lot of that George Kittle? Of course. But was a good majority of that Kyle Shanahan? Yeah. I'll give a little bit of that was the Denver Broncos sucked that year. A little bit more was George Kittle, and a little bit more than that was Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan scheming them wide open. Because to me, Kyle Shanahan, the head coach, has his faults, right? There are reasons to think that Kyle Shanahan might not be the one as a head coach. He has his warts. He's horrible at 2-minute situations. You feel me? He's horrible at
yeah,
timeout management. These are real criticisms of him. You know what? He's aggressive at the wrong times. When times he should be aggressive, he's not. And at times he shouldn't be aggressive, he's too aggressive. These are faults for him as a head coach. But as an offensive play caller, as an offensive play designer, as the man who's in charge of our offense, no. There is no faults with Kyle Shanahan to me. I mean, I shouldn't say no faults, but let's be real. He's about as damn good as you can get. I don't believe there are people that are at his level, but I don't believe there's a better offensive designer in football than Kyle Shanahan. Not better. There are people that are on his level, Sean Payton, Andy Reid, people like that, but nobody is better than Kyle Shanahan. I believe the only reason that people might pick Andy Reid over Kyle Shanahan is because of who Andy Reid's quarterback is. You give Kyle Shanahan Patrick Mahomes, yeah, okay. Watch what he can do with them. So I'm going to go into this. I'm going to go ahead and do a little reroute, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. My honorable mentions. My honorable mention, I'm going to go ahead and go Brandon Ayuk. Was an honorable mention, but I think that we kind of expect big things from him. He's obviously very important to the football team and somebody that is missing off the list. Another honorable mention that I'm going to mention, and I'll go ahead and only mention two more, is Rich Cangarella, the quarterback coach. I believe he's probably I don't want to say the most important coach because that's obviously Kyle Shanahan, but I'm going to say Rich Cangarello and DeMeco Ryans are the two most important coaches besides Kyle Shanahan this year, because our quarterback coach, most important job in the franchise right now. Matter of fact, maybe one of the most important jobs in franchise history was getting Trey Lance ready to play football. You feel me? So like the pressure, the most pressure in the organization is the quarterback coach. That's who Trey Lance is going to spend the majority of his time with. It's not Kyle Shanahan. It's Rich Cangarella. It's his quarterback, his position coach. He has the most important job in the franchise right now. Because guess what? If he doesn't do his job, you've literally fucked the franchise for years. And so Rich Cangarella and, DeMeco Ryans. This is going to be a run the ball, play defense football team. Obviously, we will put up a lot of points. We will, I believe there are games that will put up significant passing yards and things like that. But this is a football team that wants to be built off of playing great defense and running the football. And so DeMeco Ryans was handed the keys to Ferrari. He was. Let's be real. The Niners defense is the equivalent of a Ferrari. So
yeah.
I don't need you to win the race. I don't need you to be the best D coordinator I don't need you to be the best D coordinator in the league. And I realize there's going to be some bumps and scratches on that Ferrari. Just simply because you're learning how to drive it. Your job is just don't total it. That's all I need from you this year, DeMeco. It's just you can bump it. There are going to be bumps. You're going to be scratches. You're going to knock over a few trash cans. That's what happens when you're learning how to drive. You just need to not total it. That's it. Just don't have us crashing into the wall, and you will have done your job this year. I think that the Niners' talent on defense is enough that we don't need to be DeMeco Ryans to be the reason that we win football games. He just can't be the reason we don't lose them. You know what I'm saying? I believe our defense is talented enough that just don't get in their way. Hey, number 90, all you need to do, I think, is 97, go get the quarterback. Everybody else, you know what to do. Like, that's pretty much it. Every now and then, Blitz, Bam Bam, and Drake Greenlaw. I actually think, low key, I think Drake Greenlaw is going to have some sacks this year. I think they're going to use him a lot in a blitzing situation. I don't believe Bam Bam as much because to me, like while he is good at blitzing, I believe let's be real, you're taking away our best cover linebacker, one of our best coverage players if you blitz him. I'm blitz Drake Greenlaw all day, every day, blitz him. We need Bam Bam in coverage. We need him, with that 91 point something coverage grade from PFF. We need that man in coverage. Okay, Brian, before we let you go here and everything like that, why don't you go ahead and tell the people where they can find you on the Instagram?
You guys can follow me on Instagram on Niners.coverage page. And
there you go. Make sure you follow my boy. Great content coming in. Where do you think I get all the content for the show? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for joining me this week, bro. Really appreciate it. We'll go ahead and we'll catch up later.
All right, for sure, man. Thank you, Faithful.
Yeah, of course. Go Niners. All right, everybody. So we really appreciate Brian coming on. Before we get out here, we are going to go ahead and I have to set up the raid. We'll set up the raids. Remind everybody to go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com and check out By the Faithful for the Faithfuls pre-launch sale. Go to NinerFaithfulRadio.com. Check out all our blogs, previous episodes of all the shows. Make sure to go to SeatGiant.com. Use a promo code. Follow us on social media at Instagram and Facebook at Niner Faithful Radio and on Twitter at Niner Faithful R. Make sure you use our affiliate link when you shop at shop49ers.com. And also make sure you use your Amazon Prime to subscribe to your favorite Twitch channel, Niner Faithful Radio. All right, we're going to go ahead. We're going to run this raid. We ask for everybody's patience. Raid now. All right, we're raiding. And we're going to remind everybody to tune in tomorrow for Niner Faithful Radio. Jason and I will be breaking down the state of the franchise at 3 p.m. here on the West Coast. Till then, faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners.
Now, 8 seconds to go. Third down. They only have time for 2 plays no matter what. So Rice goes out to the left. And if you want to take one crack, maybe he's the guy you should go for. Young almost falls down. Throws to the end zone.
See ya.